Welcome, and I'm just so grateful for all of you for getting up and swimming in this morning. It was getting to be about 10 till 12, 10 till 11, whatever time we start here, and I was looking at the clock and then, hey, there's 4 people here, and you know what? I don't care if there's 4 or 40. I don't care if there's 40 or 4,000. The bottom line is what we have, what we come here to do, what we come here to get, it's just as good with one as it is with the one night. So, thank you. I am called to do this. I'm not sure I have a choice, although I know we always do. In reality, sometimes it doesn't feel that way. So thank you for coming and being part of my choice today. Yeah. So my talk this morning is called Being a Portal for God. And I know that many of you had the delightful and amazing experience last week to come and be a part of our experience with Annie Sims at the Creative Thought Center. It was indeed amazing, and it was filled to the brim, overflowing with riches and spiritual treasure. And so I have just been contemplating on that all week, going back and reading my notes and thinking about it. And this morning I just want to delve into that a little bit more. One of the things as a part of that is that the fundamental concept of her work is just what we teach here. It is really that the divine lives and moves and has its being in every one of us, that there is no place where God is not. Ernest Holmes says it in the introductory pages of The Science of Mind. We're studying that now in the spiritual path. He tells us that the divine is not only beyond, it is here. It is always here. There is no place where it is not. There's no state of your consciousness where it is not. There is no place where God does not embrace and love and care for. God loves death just as much as life, and ugly just as much as pretty. Isn't that wonderful? Do you feel pretty when you get up in the morning? I don't know about you guys. I'm kind of like, okay, right. But I want to start this morning with just looking at something that Annie shared with us. And it's a little intense and a little long-winded. Some of it applies to us here in this community right here, right now, this morning, and forevermore. And some of it is really specific to Annie's mission of coming to the Creative Thought Center and being there with all of us, with everyone from that community and our community, and also from the Spiritual Light Center over in Franklin. Before she made that voyage, that journey from Tennessee, Annie went into meditation, went into her place, and of course she practices what she preaches, which is that we, each and every one of us, are capable of having our own conversations with God. And so she went into that space and she asked God, "Dear God, what is the highest and the best for me to say to the people of Waynesville? And by the way, thank you for making me a catalyst for their growth and a bringer of your message." So here's God's message. Tell them I love them. Tell them it is good that they bring their groups together to co-create in this way. There is power and strength in numbers, and they are well served to do projects like this together, to bring in special speakers and artists who will uplift them and their communities. This indeed strengthens their sense of community and their sense of oneness with each other and with me. Tell them thank you from the bottom of your heart for their faith in your ability to serve them on this most special day and in this most sacred way. It is a sacred trust that you are sharing, and the most profound thing you can teach them: how to have their own conversations with their higher knowing, wisdom, God, soul, oversoul. It is all the same thing, really. Call it what you will, but it is there for the taking of everyone. Not a single person on your planet would not be well served in coming to me this way. I know all, I see all, I love all, I appreciate all, I care for all, and I can share this most divine knowing with you all if you will only open the door to me, that's capital M, God, and listen. Share this process with them and encourage them to continue it often after this day. Implore them to not only do this once, but to reach out to me as often And any time, I'm going to say every time, they have any question weighing on their hearts and minds, there is no question too small or insignificant that I will not answer. Life is not meant to be lived in the dark without guidance. This is something that used to be known by your people, but it is a forgotten art. This is your mission, Annie, to remind, re/mind, capital M, them of how to do this. Neil Donald Walsh started the ball rolling with his amazing abilities to tune into me. But too many people think that the experience is singular to him. He has worked to share with others that it is not. But you can carry that message much further as you have more access to more people in a more casual way. He is so revered and looked up to, it clouds the message. It is more believable coming from you. Tell these wonderful people that I eagerly anticipate our communion and connection, and I already know which ones of them will hear and receive this message today. Tell them to open their hearts and their minds to new possibilities that they never imagined before. This process is truly life-changing, and it is the way to get their lives to take off to new heights. This process is a way to fulfill dreams. This process is sacred, it is profound, and it is pure love. I tell you this, if every person in this room were to undertake this process, the entire region of western North Carolina would be changed, yes, in amazing and seemingly miraculous ways. Margaret Mead said it only takes a few small, powerful, connected, clear people. You're sitting in this room today. You got up and braved 6 inches of water on the frickin' highway and crazy people driving four-wheel drives 10 miles over the speed limit to get here. Annie didn't say that, I did. Okay. This is your challenge, dear ones, should you choose to accept it. Now is truly the time for great upheavals in the way humanity does this thing called life. Life is just really another word for me. It's all God. Now is the time for humanity to express me in the highest and the best way. And this is the only way to do it to its fullness. For how can you express something you have not listened to, you do not know? I know all there is to know about every one of you. Even every one of you, because I am every one of you. Let's co-create together and watch with great joy and amazement how life unfolds in the most glorious ways possible. This is your opportunity, should you choose to take advantage of it. Use me. It is the only way I can most highly express through you, as we are indeed one and the same. I love you, each of you, with all my heart, soul, and mind. Come to this workshop, and of course this was last week. Come to the workshop whether you can pay for it or not. No one will be turned away due to the inability to pay. This work is too important to depend on someone's financial ability to pay for it. It all comes out in the wash, okay, in the end. There is more than enough. There is more than enough to go around, and all are well served and well advised to learn this process. I welcome you with open and loving arms and am near as your next breath. Come to me now, and I will show you that it is indeed I who is talking to you. I will show you in unmistakable ways that will take your breath away. Then you will breathe again with me, knowing it as me, and we will walk separately no more. I tell you, it is impossible, given who and what you are. When we consciously walk in unity, however, nothing is impossible. Greater love hath no man or woman than I have for you. That is all. We are finished. Yeah. that, for me, when Annie read it last week, was an amazing transmission of just so much clarity and so much light and so much love. I hope it touches you in the same way. I hope it touches everyone that's ever been here in the same way, and everyone yet to come. Yeah. Because we get it in this teaching that we've got something special here, don't we? We understand. We're not sitting someplace today hearing about how bad we are, or were, or might be, or where we could be going when we pass on from this physical reality. We're sitting in a place where we claim and know and get it, that we're God, that we're that expression in every activity, in every word, in every thought, even the ones you think are ugly and are ungodlike. There is no ungodliness. There is no wrong. You are the expression of the divine. God is big enough and loving enough to contain it all. And God does contain it all. And in the way that Annie approaches her work, her workshop that we enjoyed last week, How to Have Your Own Conversation with God, I have been working with the tools that she gave us in that workshop last week. They're familiar, they are powerful, and they're fabulous. I find them to be very similar to the spiritual practice and science of mind that we call visioning. I know many of you have sat with us as we have visioned for our private use and for this community. Next Sunday, don't miss it, during the service we will do a visioning for Open Door Center. Where do you want this thing to go, guys? This thing is not about me as a minister. I can go anywhere and do this work anywhere I want to do it, and I know that, okay? I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to be here. I want to watch this out there. I want to see not only it affecting those of us who are on Social Security, okay, those of us who think that we might be living on a fixed income, whatever the heck that isn't, okay? I want to see it embracing the little ones, because that's really where it starts. You know, they're different than we are. Even my 22-year-old, they're different. They're cut from something else. They have capacities and an innate knowingness about themselves that I never had as a child, okay? Go play with a toddler. Go down to the park. Well, talk to their mother first. You might get arrested, okay? Really, go embrace a child. After a spiritual path class this past Friday, Janice Hill came up to me and she said, whatever it takes, I want to work with kids here. What do I need to do? How can we make that a reality? Well, the way to make it a reality is to see us in the next right space. Because you know what? I've looked at this and it just ain't going to happen here at 318 Skyland Avenue or wherever we are. Okay? It's going to take a little more space. It's going to take a little more light. It's going to take a little more energy. It's going to take a little bit more stepping up. It's going to take a little bit more involving. Or this clipboard's going around, step up and get on our fundraising circle. Okay? We'll be meeting sometime in mid-May. I'm waiting till Carol's on vacation. I'm waiting till she comes home so she can join us for that. Okay? Let's pick this thing up and take it to the next level. Let's go. I'm ready. Are you? Whew. Okay. And we talked about visioning last week. No, 3 weeks ago. Carol Lonnie Johnson, licensed practitioner from the Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, was here. If you didn't see it, it is on YouTube. It's still private. She doesn't let me know that I can make it public yet, but I'll contact her this afternoon and fix that. We'll get it up there. If you want to see it, she did a wonderful, give us a wonderful message about visioning and what it is about, and listening and being in the stillness, and how potent that is. What I want to tell you about that process before I move on is that Agape International Spiritual Center, the largest science of mind community on this planet, I don't know about others, built its world around the process of visioning. Everything they did, they took back to that place of going within and going to God and listening to what they were encouraged to do. If you follow that process for a while, you will be amazed before you're halfway through. Stuff will start popping to you. It will come in the middle of the night. It will come when you're sitting on the commode. It will come when you're standing in the shower. It will come when you're engaged with somebody and you think, I can't write that down now. Could you please tell me that later? Yeah, it will come to you. You will know how to live and move and experience the life you were meant to live. There is no place where God is not. There is no limit but the limits that we agree to. Stop agreeing to bullshit. Okay? Let it go. I don't care what it is, and I don't care how bad it frightens you. Stand up to it. You didn't come here to be little or small. You didn't. I know you didn't. You're sitting in this room. You cannot lie to me. Yeah, you cannot lie to God. So Annie did something fun last week, and I loved it, and I'm gonna embrace it and work with it a little bit. She told us that there were 5 things that really affect our capacity to have that conversation with God. And they really impressed me. And fortunately, she talked slow enough at that point where I was able to jot them down. And I've added some thoughts to it, so I'm going to talk about those 5 today. I think they're really, really amazing steps and tools and areas that we all need to look at. You know, where are we with these different things? Okay? So the first one she said was possibility. Do you think that it is possible for you, anybody in here, to have a conversation, a back and forth dialogue with the divine? In order for that to work well for us, we must first recognize something, that there is a God. Has any of you in the last week walked around going, sometimes I really wonder? You would not be the spiritual being you are if you did not at times question the whole reality of this. Because when we look, and I don't know if you saw it, but during the Dance-a-thon song, we had Boston Strong up there. When we look at things like that, it is so easy to get caught in that mainstream dead-end thinking that maybe there isn't anything leading this. Maybe there's nothing in charge. Maybe there is no spiritual recognition. Okay? It's easy to look at that and think, we're all going to hell in a handbasket. Well, you know what? I've been to hell, okay? I won't go back no matter what, because I understand where hell comes from. It is originating from and within me and between these 2 ears. It is the thoughts I think and the stuff that I choose to believe. And if I have learned nothing else, what I have learned is that choice always trumps everything. Choice trumps everything. I don't care if you're standing in front of a firing squad. I don't care if your car is going sideways down my driveway over there at Dillsboro Crossing. And you know that if you're going sideways down my driveway, you need to be praying, don't you? Yeah. Valerie came one time years ago, and afterwards she said, I love you, but I'm never coming back until you move. Since we moved into a flatland place, she's come back just about every time. Yeah. Okay? I don't care where you are or what you think you're facing. You have the choice. You have the power of choice about what you think. 20-something years ago, someone who loved me handed me Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. And Louise has changed that book a lot over the years. She used to say more than she does now, that the point of power is in the now. The way we get to that point of power is through our choice. Do you believe in the possibility of the divine speaking to you? Do you believe in the possibility of yourself moving from that place and doing what needs to be done, what is yours to do? Step up into a greater possibility. The second one that Annie mentioned was worthiness. And you know, I love it, but it is so amazing how so many of us, no matter how brilliant we are, think we just might not be quite worthy enough. If that's the case, please change your thinking. Please go home and do what a teacher of mine years ago did, Jackie Small. She is a leader in the addictions movement. She wrote a lot of books. She did a lot of trainings. And used to be blessed with the opportunity to sit in those trainings all the time. She said she sat down one day, she was facing cancer. And this is a woman of strong, strong character and clear presence of mind. And she looked in the mirror into her own eyes. And what she saw at first was the shame and the pain and the crap that probably helped her develop that illness. She didn't take her gaze away. She kept looking. And what she saw what emerged was the divine. What she saw was a crone, which was a powerful thing because for her, at her age, she was looking in the mirror thinking your beauty is gone. Who you are is gone. You'll never be what you used to be 20 or 30 years ago. And she looked past that to the window of her soul, and she saw the God within. She saw the unlimited, the pure potentiality that she is, that she was, that she always has been. That's what you are. You are worth sitting down and listening to. You are worth being the divine in its full and sacred expression. There is no place where God is not. If you think you are not worthy, think again. And come to the spiritual path, because we have ways of changing your thinking. And the next one is a big one. Oh my gosh. It's called willingness. What are you willing to do to be the voice, the hands, the ears, the eyes, the expression of God? Are you willing to get up 10 minutes earlier? That's all God is asking for. Just a toehold. I want to tell you that for years, decades, oh my God, I worked a couple of jobs. And I got up way too early in my world, okay? I mean, come on, 7 o'clock is pushing it nowadays, right? So I would get up at 6:15 or 6:30, and I would rush through the morning and get the kid up and get the kid dressed and load us all in the car and go off to job one, drop the kid off, do job one all day long, get rid of job one, go pick the kid up, change the kid's place of, being for a few minutes. She went to another care provider, get back in my car, drive to another county, thank you, go to job number 2. I said, I'm not getting up early for anybody, not even me, okay? Until the day came when it was, backed up against the wall. It was not pretty. You can get up and show up, or you can dry up, okay? That's basically what I had going on. And so I said, all right, whatever you are, I'll get up. And I did. And today the best part of my world is that time in the morning. Nobody except the cats. And here's the deal, guys. There are, we make exceptions. They must be fed first, okay? They must be fed first. And then we sit down. And usually at least one joins me. Sometimes 2, okay? Occasionally the third one will look at me. I know I've been graced then, right? And there's nobody around except that divine presence. I know you do it on your front deck watching the sunrise, don't you? I started to say sunset. Well, that too, okay? I don't care where you do it, and I don't care what time you do it, but be willing to make the time for God. Be willing to enter into that conversation. If you have to do it, set office hours with God. God doesn't care. Just say, this is your time. And the rest of the time, I'm off running the show, dude. Okay? Or dudette, or whatever you are. Okay? Do it. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Today I am really happy with an hour and a half. Anything less and I get kind of tweaked, There's hope for every one of us. Okay? Yeah. It's about discipline. It really is. It's about being self-disciplined to be a portal for God. Then there's a 4th one, and it's called doubtlessness. It's pretty interesting. When you are called, when you feel like you are being told to go do something, do you listen? Do you believe it? Or do you go, that's not God talking, that's your ego, honey. You can't stand up there in front of, how many people in here? 12? 15, okay? 49, 347, okay? 986. You can't stand up in front of all those people and do what you do. Well, if I can stand up in one of you, I can stand up in front of every one of you, okay? If you can stand up here, he can stand up here. There is no place where God is not. There is no thing you cannot do, okay? Whatever that thing that you are looking at thinking, I can't do that, stop doubting yourself. Stop doubting that desire that is within you to go out there and do that is anything but the voice of God. You want to sing? Get up and sing. That is the urge of the divine, wanting to be expressed through you in song. You want to paint? Get up and paint. You want to read, you want to sit, you want to do, you want to just be still. That is God, whatever it is. Stop doubting it. That little voice inside you that has all those dreams is that big voice, the voice of God. And here's the last one. You know, it's all about action. I love Annie Sims' music. I love all our New Thought artists. I like music in general, oh, period. You know, what the heck, okay? There's like very little music I don't like, okay? Annie Sims tells us in one of her songs, Treat, which of course is do spiritual mind treatment, enter into prayer, and then move your feet. Annie told us last week, take immediate action. If you are called to do something, do not sit down with it. Do not go, I'll think about that for a week or two. If I had been thinking when the application for the study group that is what is known as Open Door Center for Spiritual Living might involve something like this, I would never have put a friggin' stamp on that thing and mailed it. Okay? We wouldn't be standing here or sitting here today. Okay? Don't think about it. You are an agent of the divine. Get up and take the action you are called to take. Get up and do what you came here to do. Because you know what? There is no limit to what you came here to do. You will grace the worlds of many by simply being God. With your smile, with your face, with your amazing attributes. Yeah. So take action. You know, when we don't take action, that's the place where the part of us that questions, that doubts, that gets confused, that doesn't believe, creeps in. And don't give it any light. Okay? If you are told to do something, if you feel moved, get up and do it. Okay? Go do it now. Go do it today. Go do it this week. Put your butt where you know what else is. Okay? Yeah. So if we're going to be a portal for God, we're going to be a portal for good. We must consider these 5 arenas, these areas, and honestly assess how are we doing. I know I can look at those, and if I sit down and I think about them with my journal, I can tell you where I am warm. I can tell you where I'm hot too, baby. I can tell you where I'm dang near in the freezer. Okay? Yeah. And that's all that thing needs, is a little light and a little love. You know? Because we've all got our warm parts, and we've all got our cool parts. You know? They just need to be loved up. They just need to be warmed up. We just need to take ourselves by the divine hand and say there is no place where God is not. There is no place where you're going to walk out somewhere by yourself because you've never been alone. And you cannot be. 25 years ago, God, I had a dog. His name was Pooh Bear. I actually think he left and he came back and he was a cat. Now he's left, and I don't know what he's going to come back as. I told him, be an orange cat, I'll know it's you. We'll see. But I had a dog named Pooh Bear. And I had these neighbors who owned the Sylva Herald. Well, they still do, actually. Okay? And Pooh Bear was a pretty good dog most days. He was good with kids. He was a good house dog. He had a big heart. He was mostly a black lab. He had some black and tan because he had the black and tan kind of markings. But he was a big dog. He weighed about 100 pounds. On a leash, I could not, quite honestly, control him. Even once saw my ex-husband, who weighed about 240, get pulled off his feet by this dog. The impetus for that was that Pooh Bear saw a squirrel, and he decided he was going to get it. And that was his downfall. Anything he saw with fur, you know, he just turned into a slobbering maniac of a dog. Well, my neighbors had a dog whose name was Buddy. And the 2 dogs were not very good friends, okay? And Pooh Bear by that time was living in a fenced-in, he was in a gated community, okay, because of his little attitude issue. So one day, Buddy was tied up next door, and they were gone to work, and Buddy had about this much chain. He couldn't go very far, okay? And Pooh Bear realized, in his big, enormous, bear-sized self, that he could put his fence on top of the gate and pull himself right over. Well, when he did, Buddy had been coming up laughing at him, snickering at him, standing on the other side of the fence on Pooh Bear's property, laughing for years. And Pooh Bear was PO'd. And so he beat the tar out of Buddy. He just let that dog have it for everything he was worth. I don't know whatever stopped it. I don't know why he didn't kill the other dog. Well, my neighbors, like I said, owned the Sylva Herald. This is a true story. This is going out on YouTube too, okay? And I don't care. Maybe we'll tell the Sylva Herald about it. At any rate, they still own the Sylva Herald, and we're friends now. Thank you, God. At any rate, I got taken to court. I got taken to court for something that was about this long in the Sylva Herald in the court column, okay? And, you know, it's a 2-inch column, right? So it had to have been really wordy. But they made a new law in the town of Sylva that you could not own an animal that would in any way, you know, impinge upon the life of another animal or its offspring or its offspring or its offspring. I mean, the law went on and on. This is true, okay? And my future ex-husband, whom I was married to at that time, was kind of clean cut. Some of those of you who know my ex-husband would crack up hearing that because he now has hair down to here and, you know, it's curly ringlets and he wears big thick glasses. He's a pretty big guy, so, you know, he makes a statement when he just walks in the room. But at that time, he was cleaning up, and he, you know, he had a little beard or a mustache or something, and nice short hair. And so he put on a suit and got a briefcase, and off to court we went, okay? And I followed him down the courthouse, you know, aisle there, just terrified, knowing I was going to end up getting put in jail. Well, I was really freaked out because I had found out about 2 weeks before that I was carrying a child, my second child, Laurel, okay? And so we got up there. Okay, and you know, I was freaking out. I was just freaking out, thinking, oh God, they're going to take my property away. They're going to take the dog and kill him. You know, they're going to put me in jail. I'm going to have this baby in jail. I mean, have you turned authorizing? Okay, I have a degree in that. Thank you. Okay, and then the words that my 12-step sponsor said to me before we went to court, you know, essentially came back to me. What he said was, you know, God isn't going to drop you on your rear end at the bottom of the courthouse steps. If there's something you're facing today that you don't want to do because you're afraid of it, that you're not sure, you just feel so good about it, but then that fear creeps in and you don't know that you can do that, you don't think you've got the power, you don't see the way for it to happen, you just remember this. God ain't going to drop you on your butt. There is no place you will ever walk without that presence, not only beyond, not only paving the way, not only making the way for you to be what you came here to be, but literally pushing from behind too, okay, and moving you from within, okay. There is no place where God is not. So think about the possibility of it. Think about the worthiness of you. Think about how willing you are. Move away the doubt that says you can't, or maybe it's not right, or it won't work. Let go of all that stuff and step into a place where you know you are one with the divine. Be that portal for God.